What are you at? It's Paul from Wicked Acorn. I think I had my mic open there when I was shouting out to the children that I'm going live. How's everybody doing? Happy New Year. It is Romper Stomper Bomper Doo. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, and Rick. How you guys doing? Happy New Year. It's our first live stream of the year. And right down to the wire, I was up in the shower going, okay, wash faster. So I was right down to the wire getting on the air here. Are we all okay? Can you hear me? Uh, it is the last day of Christmas. It's 12 drummers drumming. Parumpa pum pum. I came down this morning and I said I should do a live stream today for the last day of Christmas. Make this a tradition, I guess. Last day of Christmas. And I came down to look up some things to show you on good evening, Astrex. Happy New Year. Put in the comments your best Christmas gift, because Rick and 1, 2, 3, 4. Rick has seen this, but 1, 2, 3, 4 hasn't. My best Christmas gift this year was from Astrex, and I'll show it to you in a minute. So put in the comments your best Christmas gift this year. Hopefully you got something good. 1 second. I have ragged cuticles. I have a hangnail here that's bugging me. So I came down this morning just to have a look at, to see if I could find some videos to put on here on this live stream. And something came up. A couple of things came up. Now, I was raised Catholic. I'm a recovering Catholic, as we like to say. And a couple of things came up, and things I've never heard of before, Catholic things that I've never heard of before. So today is Old Christmas Day. So let's just have peace and quiet. Battle of Britain t-shirts, nice. I like that. And peace and quiet. You can't get any better than that. I got a bit of that myself. Are you moved now, Astrax? Have you completed your move? I'm going to get this video going, and I'm going to go over and grab the gift that Astrax gave me. He brought it down to the Christmas market. So I'm going to put this video on, and this tells us why Old Christmas Day. And it's something we've talked about here before. Came up 2 or 3 times in our live streams. The reason, well, we didn't say it was the reason why there are 12 days of Christmas and why there's an Old Christmas Day, but you wish you had moved. Are you not moving anymore? So this is the reason for it, is something we've talked about at least 2 or 3 times in live streams in the past few months. So I'm going to just get this going here and go grab that thing.
One of the many intriguing differences that people first notice between the Eastern and Western traditions of Christianity is the difference in the date of Christmas, with January 7th being colloquially called Orthodox Christmas, to set it apart from the Western celebration that takes place on December 25th. But how old is this difference, and what caused it? Stick around to learn the answer to this question and more. Before we can discuss the date of Christmas, we must first look at why we celebrate it. As we all know, Christianity
That sound is back again. Happy New Year, 1, 2, 3, 4. Um, this is, let me switch to the other camera here. This is something I've been admiring for some time. And Astrex, he mentioned it in the live stream that he was getting this book and sent me a picture of it. And it is amazing, fantastic. It's called The Book. It's called The Book. It is absolutely amazing. It's kind of a it's kind of a how to restart society, you know, when the shit hits the fan and the zombie apocalypse starts. How to you know, make things and you know, like how to make soap. I remember when I was a kid, beautiful drawings, illustrations. Um, I remember when I was a kid, my grandmother making soap, and she only made it to show us how it was made. It wasn't something she did, but she would put the soup she was making in the freezer, and the fat from the meat or whatever in the soup, you know, congealed, and she scraped it off and added lye and stuff and made soap out of it. So, I mean, all these things we've lost so many of these old ways. History of Flight DVDs. That sounds good. The are you in Spain? Um, anyway, it is a fantastic book, and we are definitely going to be using this to make some videos for sure. There's some videos in this book. Something I've been wanting to do is build a water wheel because we Bagley Brook is in my backyard, and I want to build a water wheel and see if I can make a water wheel for starters, and maybe see if I can power something. I don't think I'll be grinding any flour or anything like that, but see if I can power something. Um, yeah, what a fantastic book. You know, how to rig sails and clothing care, how, how to send mail by pigeon. Yes, it's the Three Kings Day in Spain, and that's part of the Epiphany, and that's what today is, Epiphany. So thank you very much again, Astrex, for that. That was I have to make some soap for my market stall. Yeah, I don't think so. um, it'd be interesting to try. I don't know if it's in there, like if it goes into that kind of. It's kind of an overview kind of thing. It was in. I'm fairly certain it was inspired by the Walking Dead TV show. Um, one of the later seasons. I watched all the Walking Dead. It's really gone terrible. It's terrible now, but I still watch it. Um, After season 3, it just was rubbish. But in one episode, this woman comes and brings them a book, on how to build a windmill, and it's a book like that, and I'm sure that episode of Walking Dead inspired that book because it came out after this. This book came out after that episode of The Walking Dead. There's a guy that makes soap at the Sale Makers Market. He does shaving soap, and it's really nice stuff. I don't use it very often, but it's very nice if you're into shaving. You need to grind flour because now, from the 1st of January, all commercially produced flour needs to have additives to enhance it. Yeah, yeah. And unfortunately, in this household, we have someone that can't do gluten. So, even more reason, right? Is gluten part of flour or is that added to flour? I don't know. I don't know much about that stuff, but it's something I'll have to learn. It's a new addition to our house here that we can't do gluten. Okay, let's go back to this video. It's Three Kings Day. You're absolutely right. And I didn't know. Do they make a big deal of Three Kings Day in Spain? Yes, thank you very much, Astrex.
Is a fulfillment of the Jewish religion. The Jewish religion had 7 major feasts. As a fulfillment of Judaism, Christianity adopted these feasts, interpreting each within the lens of Christ's salvation. Christianity was not simply a new form of Judaism, however, it was a fulfillment of God's covenant with all mankind. Thus, from the very start, many Gentiles joined in the new covenant. These Gentiles, who were used to celebrating not only their own birthdays, but also the birthdays of their pagan gods, upon their conversion to Christianity, began to commemorate the birth of Christ. These celebrations were mostly idea feasts. Their aim was not to commemorate the exact date of the event of Christ's birth, but rather to celebrate the salvation achieved through Christ's incarnation. This resulted in a lack of uniformity for the date of the feast.
I know we're all Christmased out, but this is the one last day. Hang in there, hang in there, it's almost over.
From Saint Clement of Alexandria, we learn that there were numerous dates for the birth of Christ. From among these many competing dates, 2 would become dominant. In the East, the 11th of Tuba, January 6th on the Julian calendar, became the dominant celebration and was known as the Feast of the Theophany. The Greek word theophany means appearance of God, and the feast commemorates both the nativity of Christ and his baptism in the Jordan River, with both being in which God manifested himself to mankind. This day would also later become associated with Christ's first miracle, the changing of water to wine at the wedding in Cana of Galilee. While the earliest records of this date comes from the aforementioned writings of Clement of Alexandria, it is believed that this date for the celebration may have been Syrian or Anatolian in origin. In the West, Christians began to commemorate the Nativity on the 25th of December, which corresponds to the 29th of Kiak on the Coptic calendar. The earliest mention of the date comes from the early 4th century chronograph of 354 AD. Many Christians in the West also observe January 6th. In addition to all the Eastern commemorations on that day, Christians in the West also commonly associated this day with the Magi's visit. The reason that these 2 dates were most popular is not exactly certain. The most likely reason is that these dates
Yeah, it was an annual tradition in our house as well. I would get really drunk and take down the Christmas decorations on January 6th. It was a tradition for many years before the children came along. I would get really drunk and take down the tree and put away all the decorations and leave little notes for my wife. Well, she wasn't my wife at the time, but um, hide notes in the Christmas decorations because she would open them and put them up next year. So that was a bit of fun. And yeah, I had all my Christmas music that I would listen to, which wasn't Christmas music. I used to like to listen to Hank Williams was one I would listen to a lot on drinking sprees and January 6th.
Resulted from symbolic calculations. While the Nativity of Christ was not celebrated by the Church in the first century, the crucifixion and resurrection of Christ certainly were. These feasts were tied to the Jewish feast of the Passover, with Christ being crucified on the 14th of Nisan, the day of the slaughtering of the Passover lambs. Some Christians in Asia Minor claimed that the 14th of Nisan would correspond to April 6th, while the majority of Christians claimed it was March 25th. By that point in time, it had become common belief that the Annunciation of Christ's birth to the Virgin and his resurrection took place on the same date. Since these dates were commonly believed to be the dates of the Annunciation, using them to calculate the birth of Christ would be very easy. Adding 9 months to these two dates would produce January 6th for the Anatolians and December 25th for the Romans and everyone else, demonstrating the possible origin of these two dates for the celebration.
So the Julian Gregorian calendar thing, that's what this is all about. It's the reason. Yes, yes, it was fun. I would get an aw on whatever day the Christmas decorations came out. Um, she had the hugest collection of wooden nutcrackers, about a foot or so high. She had a whole collection of them, and of course, um, well, she had one that she bought when she visited Germany when she was a teenager, and then I bought her one. And of course, when people see that you have two, they go, "Oh, do you collect those?" And she ended up with dozens of these wooden nutcrackers, and that was I would hide notes in the mechanism, and one note stayed in them. Anyway, the poor old nutcrackers were donated to the Arts and Culture Center, I think, before we left. I don't think she brought any of them with us.
In addition to their symbolic nature coming 9 months after the Annunciation, both dates were close to the winter solstice. The solstice was a common date for pagan festivals such as the Saturnalia in Rome and Chronia in Egypt. The placement of the Feast of the Nativity close to these celebrations would have deterred Christians from participating in them. By the 5th century AD, for one reason or another, all churches began settling on December 25th, Kiak 29th, as the Feast of the Nativity, with the Feast of the Theophany on January 6th being preserved only as a commemoration of the baptism of Christ. The connection between these two feasts is still observable within the Coptic tradition with regards to the stringent Paramon fast which precedes them both. Such a fast isn't associated with any of the other major feasts. The only church which did not adopt December 25th as the Feast of the Nativity was the Armenian Church, which to this day doesn't celebrate the Nativity as an independent feast. So, if almost everyone in late antiquity settled on December 25th as the date of the Nativity, why is there division today? This goes back to the wandering nature of the Roman and Egyptian calendars. If you recall from our
So this is the reason for it, the calendar drift. And we came across that several times in our live streams talking about the Gregorian and the Julian calendar. And the main reason for it was Easter, because Easter kept moving farther and farther away from where it should be. And they also didn't want to rely on the Jews to know when Passover was. So they came up with their own way of creating it. Easter is really funny, and I've memorized it when it is. It is the first Sunday after the first full moon, after the solstice. Is it the solstice? Not the solstice. No, the uh, autumnal. Not the autumnal. The spring equinox. So it's the first Sunday after the first full moon, after the spring equinox. That's how you can tell when Easter is. And the reason for that is regardless of where you are, you can find out when Easter is because everybody has to celebrate Easter at the same time. That's one of the church rules. So you can figure out when the spring equinox is, by looking at the sun. So you can figure that out. And you can figure out when the full moon is, obviously. And you can figure out when Sunday is. So you can figure it out without a calendar. So that's how you figure it out. That's why it moves around all the time.
Previous discussion of the Egyptian calendar, the ancient Egyptians had miscalculated the length of the year as 365 days, causing the calendar to fall back one day every 4 years. The Julian and Coptic calendars, in turn, aimed to fix the wandering issue by adding a leap day once every 4 years to bring the year up to 365 and a quarter days. However, this calculation was still not precise enough. The year is more precisely 365 days, 5 hours, 48 minutes, and 46 seconds long. While the ancient Egyptians had underestimated the length of the year by about a quarter day, the ancient Greeks had overshot it by a little over 12 minutes. While the difference was minute and unnoticeable at first, as hundreds of years passed, the difference accumulated, leading to dates jumping forward with regards to the equinox. In the 1500s, European scientists began reworking the formula for the length of the year. Their new calculation produced a year which was roughly 365.2425 days long, which was closer to the tropical year than the Julian calculation. In 1582, Pope Gregory XIII issued a reform which skipped the calendar forward 10 days and applied the new formula for the length of the year, thereby limiting the noticeable drift. This newly reformed calendar was called the Gregorian calendar. This reform would be adopted by the majority of countries today, but the Eastern churches, both the Eastern Orthodox and Oriental Orthodox, did not accept the reform. They would continue using the Julian calendar. As centuries continued to pass, the Julian calendar continued to drift so that December 25th now coincided with January 7th on the Gregorian calendar. In 19...
That's the rest is science. That's a fairly new one. That's a great channel. What's Buddy's name? The guy with the beard. I'm starting to look more and more like him. He was from Vsauce, another great channel that he's kind of finished with, and doing rest is science now. And there's another new history channel which I want to make a video about. Piers Morgan has a history channel now. He doesn't host it. There's another girl that hosts it. And I absolutely love to hate Piers Morgan. It is one of the things I love most in the world is hating Piers Morgan. I watch his show quite a bit. I can't stand it, but I love hating it. Um, and so he has a history channel now related to his attached to his channel somehow. What's the name of Uncensored? History Uncensored? Is that what it's called? Something like that. I've watched a couple of them, and the first one I think was about vampires or something, and it was. I'm not really interested in vampires, but it was pretty good. Anyway, I want to make a video about that in the future. In the future, we'll be doing a live stream about History Uncensored and about history YouTubers in general. Myself and Rick were talking about the AI that's just taken over YouTube. It is like oh God, it's more than every second video is AI now. And it's terrible. I saw one the other day, and I'm really divided about the use of AI in history videos because it's. I mean, I don't mind, bringing JP Jewell to life, so he blinks and turns his head, or some Roman soldiers walking down Washway Road. Stuff like that doesn't bother me. Um, but some of them are just full on. The voice, the script, the whole thing is AI, and it doesn't bother me because some of them are okay. There's a Manchester one, which is quite interesting to look at. It's bringing old photos of Manchester to life. And I kind of like that, but anyway, there's going to be a video about this in the future, YouTube history channels. And coming soon. Let's get back to this.
2023, a new calendar, the revised Julian calendar, was created by a Serbian scientist named Milutin Milankovic. This calendar is even more accurate in its calculation than the Gregorian calendar, giving a year length of 365.2422. While many Eastern Orthodox churches adopted this calendar and have thus reconciled the date of Christmas with the Gregorian calendar, the largest of the Eastern Orthodox churches, the Russian Church, has not. They, alongside other churches, continue to use the old Julian calendar. While the Coptic Orthodox Church celebrates the Nativity on what is January 7th on the Gregorian calendar, it is important to note that this is simply because the Coptic Church doesn't recognize the Gregorian reform and still uses the original Julian calendar. The Church views the feast as still occurring on the same day as it has for centuries, Kiak 29th of the Coptic calendar, December 25th of the Julian calendar. Reforming the calendar to better reflect the actual length of the year and provide unity of feast dates with other Christians is the goal of many within the Coptic Church. But many more cannot distinguish between holy tradition and simple traditions, and thus, as with everything else, change is nearly impossible. Thus, while modern apostolic churches may differ within their actual practice on when they celebrate the Feast of the Nativity, they have all agreed since the 5th century AD that it should be celebrated on December 25th. They just haven't agreed on when exactly December 25th is. Hopefully, within the near future, the calendar issue will be resolved in unity to the Christian celebration of all feasts. For now, regardless of December 25th you celebrate, I wish you a blessed Feast of the Nativity. Christos genate doxasate.
So that is As It Was Coptic History. Got to give them a like. Yeah, so it's mainly because of the calendar drift and those things. I came across a couple of other things this morning. I'm not going to watch the whole video, but this is something I've never heard of. This Chalk Your Doors, your 2026 5-minute tradition for protection and peace. Something I've never heard of. This is Catholic Guides. I've never heard of this thing.
Chalk Your Doors, your 2026 Epiphany Home Blessing Guide. What if I told you there's a 2,000-year-old Catholic tradition that takes less than 5 minutes, costs almost nothing, and is believed to place your home under God's protection for an entire year? No app, no subscription, no algorithm, just chalk. And most Catholics, they've never done it. Today, I'll show you exactly how to bless your home for Epiphany 2026, what the chalk means, how to do it without feeling awkward, and why this simple act might matter more than we think in a distracted, noisy world. Why this still matters. Let's be honest, life feels loud right now, chaotic, rushed,
This is a classic example of what I'm talking about. This is all AI. It's terrible.
fragmented, and somewhere between notifications and deadlines, faith can quietly slide into the background. That's why traditions like this hit differently. Chalking your door isn't superstition. It's not magic. It's a visible declaration. This home belongs to Christ. It may feel silly standing there.
Anyway, it's some kind of tradition that I've never heard of. There's a whole bunch of videos. I just chose that one because it was last minute before I went live here. I told you I was down to the wire going live here. But there are a whole bunch of videos about this. You know, Reverend Tim Frickenschmidt, that's a good name. There's a whole bunch of videos, Epiphany chalk blessing. So it's a real thing, but I have never heard of it. I've never heard of this thing. And another thing that I came across this morning that I've never heard of either. And as I said, I was brought up Catholic. And this is something I've never heard of. This was live this morning.
Fratelli e sorelle, come pellegrini di speranza, abbiamo ricercato la via della vita alla luce della parola di Dio e della sua misericordia senza limiti. Il pane disceso dal cielo.
So I don't even, like I said, I've never heard of this before, and I still don't know what it is. I looked it up, and I haven't got the patience to watch it right now. But it's some kind of tradition that goes back hundreds and hundreds of years, like back to the 1400s. And it's like every 25 years, they close these doors and brick them up. Something I've never heard of this before. They don't brick them up anymore because I think it was John Paul II, when he was breaking the bricks down, he got hurt. I guess a piece of stuff flicked and hit him or something, and he got hurt somehow. I don't know. And a innocent bystander was hurt, I guess, by debris flying around. Anyway, it's something I've never heard of, and like I said, I haven't got the patience to watch it right now. There's a lot of Catholic traditions that are quite fun. Anyway, I just thought I'd come in and say hello, and it's time to make supper now. So thanks for joining us. We're going to get back into doing this live stream, and probably Wednesday at 6:30. I don't know. I'm trying to work out the best time to do it, and we'll go with that for now until future notice. And there you go. There's some good videos coming up. There's a really interesting one that I have to go into town for. That's going to be fun. Into the Arndale, but it has nothing to do with the Arndale. Now that might give you a clue, but it might also throw you off track because there's a few things that happen around there, isn't there? Anyway, that's what we're going to do coming up soon. That's the next video that I'm going to go shoot near the Arndale. So that will be that one. And anyway, there's a whole bunch I've got on the back burner that'll be coming up soon in the new year. So, including complaining about other history videos, other history YouTubers. So we'll talk about that maybe next time. So thanks for coming by. We'll see you in the next one.